A warm good evening to all the dignitaries, professional social workers, faculties, practitioners, students, and one and all who joined us for this meeting. The foods we eat, the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the climate that makes our planet habitable all come from nature. Yet, these are exceptional times in which nature is sending us a message. To care for ourselves, we must care for nature. It's time to wake up, to take notice, to raise our voices. It's time to build back better for people and planet. Yes, let's celebrate this World Environment Day, giving our time for nature, with which we focus on its role in providing the essential infrastructure that supports life on Earth and human development. World Environment Day is the United Nations flagship day for encouraging awareness and action for the environment. Let's now begin our session on One Earth and No More Choice. Before we move on to the session, I'd like to bring your notice to the registration form, which link is put on in the chat box. Please make use of it. Now, I would like to hand over the session to Ms. Suhana, third semester MSW student, Central University of Kerala, to welcome all those who have joined us. Suhana, please go online.
Good evening all. I am happy to welcome all of you in behalf of Social Work Department, Central University of Kerala to this webinar, One Earth No More Choice, as a part of World Environment Day. First and foremost, I welcome Dr. G John, Head in Charge, Department of Social Work, Central University of Kerala. Welcome you, ma'am. A cordial welcome Dr. G Bergmeister, Vice Chancellor, Central University of Kerala, who has very kindly consented to be our chief guest in the webinar. Welcome you, sir. And I welcome Mr. Freitas Radhakrishnan, who is handling the session on the topic One Earth, No More Choice. Please, sir. Finally, I welcome you all to this webinar. I hope the session will be great and successful and make use of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Suhana. Now I request Dr. G. John, Head in Charge of Social Work Department, Central University of Kerala, to go online to preside over the meeting. Over to you, ma'am.
Session. World Environment Day is celebrated on June 5th annually to encourage awareness and environmental protection. According to the United Nations, the celebration of this day provides us with an opportunity to broaden the basis for an enlightened opinion and responsible conduct by individuals, enterprises, and communities in preventing and enhancing the environment. Through the observation of this particular day, we can get educated on environmental sustainability. This is a key issue for human societies. Education has strategic role in the process of environmental management, training of children and young people, incorporating environmental and human values, emphasizing the sense of daily practices leading to a culture of sustainability, a culture, the harmonic coexistence between human being and between them and nature. A key of such observation is to enable individuals to engage in confrontation and resolution of environmental issues that affect them most directly, with a central point where the understanding of the complex nature of the natural environment and the environment created by human beings, resulting the integration of biological aspects, physical, social, economic, and cultural. It also helps in building new cultural, social, economical values. Human health ultimately depends upon ecosystem products and services, which are necessary for good human health and productive livelihoods. The year 2020 began with the environmental crisis, revealing itself in a disturbing manner. Wildfires ravaged the rainforest and the Australian bushfires. The cyclones and floods washed away trees and buildings. Now, locust attacks across Africa and India and the coronavirus pandemic. All these calamities act as a reminder that Human health is linked to the planet's health. Now, we need to fundamentally rethink our relationship with the living world, with the natural ecosystems. At times, we consider all these are just few utopian ideas, but these utopian ideas are to build something you dream, and dream is to generate hope. It is the desire to abstract a concrete reality, to stop confused on firm ground to march. I wish all participants, especially my colleagues, my students, research scholars, media persons, all environment loving friends who gathered in this platform, may you all have a fruitful experience of learning and change. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. That was great message from your side. Yes, now I'm honored enough to welcome the Vice Chancellor, Central University of Kerala, Dr. G Bergmeister, for inaugurating the session. Sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Jilly John, other resource persons, participants of this very important seminar. I'm very happy to note that the Department of Social Work has taken an initiative to organize a webinar in the context of the World Environment Day being celebrated on June 5th, 2020. So this day is very, very important for all of us, and particularly in the shadow of the onslaught of the COVID-19 disease, which has brought so much of havoc and tragedy to human lives. We realize and we have to appreciate the fact that the ecosystem consists of not only human beings, but we need to consider the significance of the flora and fauna. They are equally relevant and they do have a space in this world. And it is for us to realize and appreciate how the lives are interconnected. Today's world, the human beings, as population statistics denote, it is around 750 crores of people, or 7.5 billion people, of which 130 crores of people are from our country alone. So despite the huge number, our generation has to realize the significance of adapting to this world, Mother Earth, and definitely we need to adjust not only among human beings, but also with plant life and animal life. See, diversity is something that nature had given to all of us. So natural diversity is equally relevant. By nature, the resources are to be diversified properly, and therefore the balance of the ecosystem depends greatly on how this diversity is sustained and promoted. That is why we have even advocated, the United Nations even advocated the policy of what we call sustainable development. The problem is that as we try to improve upon our lives, it naturally caters into the ecosystem and the environment. And naturally, any action from the human being side will have to take care how it affects others also, not just human beings, but also the plant and the animal life. So it's a very well connected system, but as our numbers grew, the problem was that we began to ignore and tried for improvising our needs, which transformed into our greed. And this became a very big challenge. And as a result of which, people are discussing now about the travesty of man-animal conflict. It is not man-animal conflict, it is also human beings with nature. The conflict has become directly between human beings and nature. The problem is that as we advance further and we damage ecosystem and environment, many of such things are irretrievable. That's a right dilemma that we have to understand. And in this particular context, as Dr. Gillijan mentioned, how the world saw forest fire, how it is being increased from one level to another, from oceania to other parts of the world. and then with other kinds of floods and events. But now coming with the pandemic, we are really in a fix. There may be instances of pandemic a century ago, but this time it has damaged all our lives, and the entire human life has come to a grinding halt. The mobility has been completely arrested. So we have to realize that environment is for all, the ecosystem is for all, Mother Earth is for all. Unless we give and take, definitely there won't be much for us to live, and the future will be bleak. And it is for us to realize this dilemma. I'm sure that animals and others, the plants, no, they have already adjusted to the ecosystem, as we know very well. Why this a man-animal conflict happens? Very clear that we encroach upon the animal kingdom, or what we call the ecosystem of the animals. So naturally, they react, and as a result of which the problem accumulate. So this day is particularly important, especially in the shadow of the COVID-19. We need to understand that only through a balanced life and a balanced ecosystem and the kind of understanding that we can make in this diverse world, everyone can proceed further. And that procedure will depend upon the initiative from human life. So I think we need to address this issue with much more gravity. When United Nations came up with the idea of sustainable development, there was a great general agreement that we will balance among all of us, and therefore we need to develop protocols. But as we know how some countries had ignored Kyoto Protocol, then also in the other subsequent protocols developed, and some of the developed countries had damaged the procedure for managing the protocol. But now we realize that, as COVID-19 has shown very clearly, not unlike the climate change which affected the poor countries to begin with, now the COVID-19 had addressed the poor and the rich alike. So whether it is climate change or COVID-19, ultimately the entire life will be affected. So let us realize that we have to take a pledge among all of us, and also realize that only through a sustained manner human development is possible. So we need to develop public policies according to that. Green protocols are important, and at the same time, balanced way of life is significantly important. Unfortunately, the mad race for material advancement in the age of globalization had done great damage to all of us, and the kind of advancement that made through corporate development has done immense harm to the environment. We may face another great damage in the near future. I don't know, particularly about the global warming. There has been already predictions showing that the ice melting in the Arctic region is likely to penetrate further into other parts of the world. So there are going to be, let us realize that natural calamities would come. These natural calamities come only because our unnatural activities. So let us realize this, and World Environment Day has become very important in this context of COVID-19. I appreciate the department for taking this initiative, congratulate all of you, and appeal to students and others to participate along with the resource persons. And I wish all success. I'm very happy to be part of this event. A great pleasure to inaugurate this webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. And we are so delighted to have you with us. And your motivation was a great stepping stone for all of our success. So now we have with us Mr. Freitas Radhakrishnan, who is well known to many of us. He is basically an engineer and environmentalist by passion and practice. He taught in various technical institutions before he took up environmental research, campaigns, and activism. He resigned from government service in 1997, and since then he has been deeply involved in activities related to environmental health and justice. His main areas of work cover sustainable agriculture and food sovereignty, environmental policy and advocacy, and ecosystems and land use policy. He has played critical roles at the state and national levels in issues related to industrialization, agriculture, environment, and food and agricultural trade policies. He was closely he was closely Influentially associated with many campaigns, the industrial pollution issues in Ellore area, the anti-Indo-Sulfan struggle in Kasaragod, the campaign to establish zero waste as an alternative to dirty waste management practices to keep India free of hazardous GM crops, and so on. He also worked closely with government to draft the organic farming policy and also the draft land policy. Presently, he functions as coordinator of the Save Our Rice campaign, which is a national movement towards building a sustainable way for food security in India. He is the director internal, a well-known environmental organization in Kerala. He is also the founder and coordinator of Kerala Paristhiti Aikyavedi, Council of Consumer Research, Education, Action, Training and Empowerment Trust since 2009. He has also been a fellow of the Association for India Development. He authored two books, Racism since 1963, A Burden on Our Heads, a book on impact of Gwalior Maur, Rayon's Factory on the Economy and Ecology of Kerala, and Cleaning Up Kerala, a synthesis of studies in municipal solid waste management in Kerala. He was also closely associated with and co-authorized in the publication A Green Print for Sustainable Kerala, Lesson for Existence, edited by Dr. V.S. Vijayan and Dr. Lalita Vijayan for the KPAB. His works definitely shows his passion for nature and always tries to make his word into practice. He lives in a mud and bamboo Cosford home with his wife Shobha and son Ambarish at Karakulam, a panchayat in the outskirts of Thiruvananthapuram city. Welcome you, sir. Now I have a challenge for you all. Let's have a look at it now.
मम्मी वो क्लास में कर लिया
Awesome, Sarina.
Adira, can you please present the screen? Share the screen.
The screening മെയിനായിട്ടുള്ള ആള് സംസാരിക്കുന്നത് തന്നെയാണ്. ഇത് ഇവിടെ മാറി വരും. നേരത്തെ മാറിയില്ല. തുടങ്ങുന്ന
Yes. Now I request Rita sir to launch a new initiative, and with much enthusiasm, we look forward to hear from you, sir. Over to you, sir. Please go online.
Yeah, thank you very much. Can you all listen? I mean, hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's audible.
Yes.
Okay, it's. I mean, I always check the volume because.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Oh, terrific. Okay, thank you. And yeah, let me do my first task, which has been given to me, and then I'll get into the formals. I think that's the way this is being organized. So first of all, let me formally and officially and with a lot of happiness launch the Upheaval Through Upcycling, the Time for Nature challenge. It's an open challenge for all. I'm sure that this is going to be interesting and some very creative ideas will come out of this. Just one more word on this upheaval, challenge that you're giving. I think the solutions are with the young people. The solutions are no more with the old people. While I agree that some of the old people like us can come up with creative solutions, those solutions will be about 30 years old and may not be fitting into the current challenges at all. So I look forward to the young team of wonderful students in the college and also outside to take up this open challenge, and let's see what comes out of it. And I also request the organizers to keep me posted on what comes out of this challenge. So let me formally inaugurate or sort of open the challenge of upheaval through upcycling. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.